Many people in spirituality, because of their family issue, like especially wife is not perfect or husband is giving trouble to wife or such thing, in how to manage such thing, if someone want to stay in relationship also and progress spiritually also.
I think spirituality and relationships are not away from each other. When you're spiritual, you make more relationships. The unfolding part of relationship is not materialistic, or is not where you just start owning someone for you. So it is in a dimension where you respect someone else's existence as they are. Like, you respect me and I respect you for who we are, not with no conditions asked, with no rules and regulations behind. We just accept them to be two different, or two existing beings. Any relationship is spiritual in a way where you bring a person into your life thinking that they would be more helpful to you in all aspects of your life. Either you see practicality, either you see kind of psychological state you live in, either you see creating a family together, either you see about having kids and having more wealth in your life. The relationship should help you. So the very sense of making relationship itself is spiritual, where you bring one person, either with the sense of marriage, either with the sense of coming together for a better reason. You come together, and relationships happen beyond marriage, beyond just being friend also. So everything as a relationship is a step ahead towards spirituality. We just need to understand that they are not completely material in nature. So that's where things go wrong. So when, for example, mostly if you see among all the relationships, the marriage and the byproduct of marriage, which could be parents and kids, these are the most important cycles of anyone's life, because you are the product of someone's marriage, and you get into marriage and you give out some product as a marriage, which becomes the next generation. So this is the cycle that no matter which religion, which faith, which belief system, which country you belong to, this is something very unique and at the same time existing in every culture. So adding up a relationship is always related to your parents and your wife or husband, and the offsprings who we are going to get. So this cycle is very important. So most of the relationships, if you see, they are either related to marriage, parents and kids. So the question you asked, where a relationship between husband and wife, how it has to be, again, like every relation has to be, it should be spiritually evolving. That's what, if you see, people who stay together, they are very common in throughout the world. In villages, still there is a sense of marriage, there is a sense of adapting a lifestyle for marriage. So they always do this, and they are successful in bringing up their offsprings, and they would get married and they would get offsprings too. So this was invented, and this was set up in a way so that we'll never go out in numbers, because if we are not enough, then some other animal would come and will dominate us, then will not exist. They have created these cycles within every tradition and culture, where you would bring a relationship and you would do justice to that. So when this doesn't happen, it means that you are not taking this relationship into a spiritual identity. You are just making marriages happen in your life out of some material wants you want. Some external forces are just pushing you to have a relationship like this. Most of the people, they get married just because they are of young age, which is you get into marriage, and then you understand there is a meaning to marriage. That is well and good, but you get into marriage because it's the age of marriage, which is not good. Then in that sense, you should get married at 13-15 years only. This is how it used to happen in the ancient times. Yeah. Where they used to have early offsprings, and then once you're 35-40, your kid will be 15-16. You are young enough, at the same time your marriage would have functionally supported you with an offspring who would take care of so many things for you. But we came into a culture where marriage is still practiced, but it is not understood that we are supposed to get into a relationship at a younger age. For example, if you have a friend who knows you from since early age, you will be in the tendency to remember them forever. Once you know someone 10-15 years, you can't forget them, or you can't completely separate them. Again, if you are doing that, that is for material reasons only. If you really know someone emotionally, you'll never separate them, no matter how much differentiation there is in between the material wealth and the spiritual wealth they have. So mostly, to my understanding, relationships are always a step ahead to be more spiritual. So when two people they're having issues, it's absolutely they don't understand the spiritual realm of it. They just fall for material reasons. I have so much money, or I say so, you do that way. And lots of people having extramarital affairs, or lots of practical and material issues that they can't deal with. They proclaim these issues are from the marriage, and they just come out of it. But marriage was always a stress breaker to civilizations, because you would be doing so much physical work. Suddenly you will have some companion who would help you for your whole life. But right now you are having no stress. Out of your age, out of your young nature, you get into marriage and you call it as a relationship. And both the husband and wife, they doesn't have any amount of physical stress. They earn money, and they somehow come out of it as a conclusion that these are the things that would define us. And finally, that's how they come out of it. Because they can't grow and see the dimension beyond this, they fall out to be very sick in their relationships, not understanding the capabilities of what relation could be.
So if someone is spiritual and his or her partner is not spiritual, what to do in that case? If someone is already married and this is the situation,
there is no sense of not being spiritual, because the very nature of every person is spiritual only. It's the only thing is like, they fall into the material pool of the world, which makes them fragile, which makes them less open to the things which can be understood well. That is what spirituality is, right? If you see the energy of spirit in everything, it is it is ever pervading. It is just joining all the strings together. So why would someone say I don't want to be spiritual, when it is a very enormous connection, when it is something which is integrating everything? Why would anyone say that I am not spiritual? If you are not spiritual, then person who is spiritual in front of you would always be of your understanding. Because even though you say you are not spiritual, you have to understand that everything is connected to an extent, so which you can't come away from. Complaining that I am not spiritual, my partner is spiritual, is just going back to material aspects of life, thinking that they would solve their issues. But finally, two persons in a relationship, either they are husband and wife, brother and sister, mother and father, and their offsprings, it is always that you enter into a higher realm of spirituality, where you understand that whole family as a unit is ours, and the community which is surrounded by us is also an extended base to our families, and you live accordingly. So this is always having a better spiritual sense than what you can exist as a single person. So they are always in the direction of spirituality, every relationship, and a growing relationship together. So coming out of it is always a statement to some obstacle which is of material in nature, which they can't come out of.
so this latest generation is afraid to get married because of the separation, divorce cases, and trust issue.
Yeah.
People can't trust each other because they see that they can't stay together for long or something. Now society is going in that direction. So what do you recommend, to marry or stay unmarried?
No, that is again, we can't recommend. People all have their own ideas of getting married. Someone is religiously married, someone is like, asking for an arrangement from their parents to marry, someone is looking for their own partners. There are many ways to recommend people to do this and to do that, but eventually speaking, they do in their own way. They'll not listen to you. But how a relationship should exist, that is our topic of choice, where a relationship has to be nurtured in a way where you would obviously understand them to grow spiritually. No matter which dimension it is, you make them understand. At some point, they'll understand. The external world is no bigger fantasy than ours, right? If we think to be someone who is very famous, you can be. You just need to make a path for it. If you think to be a more simple person, I don't want anything, you'll be that also. You need to make a pathway for that. You need to keep away yourself away from many distractions. Then you'll be simple enough. If you go into many distractions and still you be yourself, you'll be someone who would be famous. So in the same way, not being in a relationship is not a recommendation, because being single, it means that you are not being single, right? For example, everyone they write I'm single, ready to mingle. However, they want to keep up their status as you say single. How can you be single? You already have a family, which means you are already in a relationship. You are product of one relationship, and how can you say you are single? Even the so-called Western defined society, where you have divorced parents, single parents, single mother, single father, even people who doesn't have any parents also. Some people they don't have a family status. They are decided to be orphans. Still, they have relationship with people. So there is no end to relationship. There is always a relationship. So that's why I'm saying having a relationship is always taking a step towards spirituality ahead. So either you are an orphan, either you are of a big family coming from a very prosperous community, you always need a relationship to go ahead with you, and which is a spiritual addition. And you choose not to. It's not an obstacle to you, but still you are. There is only the difference that lies between is like, one choosing not to get married but still having a relationship. That doesn't mean only with female partners, with male partners, however gender you choose yourself to be. It doesn't make you any different. So they would definitely say that the difference between having a partner and getting into marriage and doing something for the society or for your own offspring is equally the same with someone who choose to be single, who live their life according to their norms, and somehow they would be in relationship with someone, right? If not, at least if consider me to be single, I have a very good relationship with my parents, family, friends, and siblings, which I can't cut right away. So I am single now. I'm not into marriage. I'm not with a female partner. That doesn't make me a single person, right? How am I single? I'm constantly in touch with family. I'm constantly in touch with many people. So single ready to mingle is a kind of statement to fast food delivery system, so which again defines the physical culture of relationships, which is not. Relationships are not physical or not of material made. Physical itself, because whenever they come to these kind of statements, the reason why I'm saying relationships are not physical, because even though you have endless relationship physically, you always seek something emotional, which is again spiritual. You have a wife, you have kids with them, and you have everything in your life in terms of wealth and satisfaction. But there is no addition in your life, just because there is no higher emotion that you are seeking in your life, which turns out to you for you to be spiritual, and you leave your family. Where that doesn't mean you are not taking care of your family. It means that you want a better understanding. Your partner would understand that. They would turn spiritual with you. They would go for yatras with you. They don't understand. They fall back and live in their material nature. They have both the ways to go with. But without relationship, without spirituality, I'm going to exist. It's not possible to anyone. The very nature of our existence is spiritual. We pro-define that, we come out of it, and we start living out to be religious, national, pro-national, global, local, so many defining terms. But we are basically spiritual in our nature. After this, whatever path you seek, it always goes back into that realm only. It doesn't come out of it. Either it is relationship, emotional bondage, family bondage, everything goes back and travels back to be a relationship, which again growing in your spiritual reality.
So most of the women's are emotional. That means they are spiritual.
No, emotional journey is again, it's a tricky word when you want to define something which is not material, which is just to be dominated or acquired in nature. We call it as emotion, but it is again a small string of spirituality. So, for example, you be emotional towards someone, you're concerned about them, you ask them to come back in time, don't go to all kinds of, crazy places or eat something crazy. But at the same time, you have acceptance to those people who do some crazy things and you keep with them. So both these dimensions are equally emotional. One is giving you good health or good lifestyle, one is not giving you that, but you still coexist. So emotional can be sometimes it can be a danger to you also. At the same time, sometimes it can be very useful to you. So the useful dimension of your emotional cycle, you can consider that to be spiritual. Anything more useful in your life which you would define as a motivating factor would have a spiritual dimension to it.
Some people think like after marriage and all, I will change her or change him. Is it okay to change someone, or we have to accept as they are?
You have to make changes. There is no you are constantly changing person. You need to make changes. At the same time, you can exist to be who you are. Sometimes the changes also they become very forceful on you, because they become discriminatory towards women, especially when they get married. They're supposed to live like this, and the family, or the kind of household that she go to live is always suppressive in a way, saying that you're supposed to listen to us, so which is not right in any way. And at the same time, you can't state this, because most of the women, they used to face these things in every household, because you go to a new household and to create a family, you need to withstand so many dimensions of their life, and which you make changes to, you would fit into their life, and you would find your own path. You have to make changes. They are, either you are in a relationship or not, changing is inevitable. You are supposed to change constantly. I think you and me are also are of this status, speaking about these things, because we are constantly evolving and changing on the basis of our choices, on the basis of surrounding culture, surrounding realities of society.
Most of the relationship breaks because even between parents or wife or husband, I feel like it's because of the ego issue. Like, is it true? What do you think about it?
Ego, see, it is also material of nature, right? Ego doesn't exist, because if you really fall for this word ego, the biggest ego is like of nature, ego of the whole creation. So your ego would definitely be dissolved in front of their ego, which is everywhere there. Not having ego is again a thing where you can't bring things into order. If you want something in order, you have to listen, or you have to go with someone's ego. You can't come out of it. But forcing this onto someone could be dangerous. Like, you are supposed to be like me. For example, even when it comes to parents and husband and wife, they can take care of their kids' parents when both of them, they share everything together. If you push everything on a female, saying that you should take care of the kid completely, how far they can do that? Maybe single parent who want to work and at the same time educate their kids, they would do it to an extent, but still they need someone else's support. So when you are two parents and having a kid, you are supposed to share everything and change accordingly. That would give a proper nutrition forwarded generation to your kids. But when you don't do that, there is always a deficiency in that parenthood. So everything has to be a change, and everything has to be a reflection of changes that you make. Then only families and relationships move together. Otherwise, if you resist change also, I think you can't exist that way. You have to change at some point to move in the direction where the situations can ask you for more changes, or whatever changes you have made would be more efficient, more functional for you. So you have to make those changes.
So this Shankaracharya said somewhere that you do the Nishkama Karma Yoga, expect nothing from your family or relationship. How to practice that in reality?
I think he also did it in the other way. Not expecting anything is a nature that you go into this choice when you understand the higher dimensions of life. Like, there are so many things in nature and surrounded by you, even beyond any human relationships and human communities. If you see anything that is surrounding you, they are existing in that state only, right? And no tree or no even a blade of grass is asking you permission, or at the same time are being your deviation, right? They're already there. So when you understand the higher realities of life, you will understand that the very nature of our creation is to exist that way. So it became again yoga, which is a union or integration of this eternal knowledge. Karma yoga, which is like the way you define the work that you do. Nishkama, which is like not asking for a meaning, not asking for a purpose to attach it to. So it becomes Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is again the very nature, the very quality of the nature itself. So you can't separate it from that. So defining it to be the eternal nature of creation, he just said so Nishkama Karma Yoga would keep you away from all the bondages. But it's not like you are going to. He also came back for his mother. He took care of his mother because there were no one, and he can't leave her mother in her last days to just be on her own. He didn't see any attraction or anything that would drag him towards his mother. But out of courtesy, out of choice, he took that and he did it so because he didn't want something else from her mother. He just want her to go safely and peacefully, seeing him in her last days. So which he did in the same way. It is Nishkama Karma Yoga only, but you did it to your own mother, so where you didn't attach any purpose to it. Maybe you would travel to somewhere else when you are doing this, but you did this so because that is the part of your practice where you don't really expect anything from her. You are happy with whatever she gave to you, and you are exploring your life. When she needs you, when she needs someone's help, you are in a place to give, or to keep someone who would help them, but you want yourself to be there. As a choice, you made that. You came back and you did it. Still, that is also Nishkama Karma Yoga only. These are just defining factors to what you do. Once you understand the higher reality, I think you can always exist that way, and there is always a place to come back into relationship, either you are single, married, unmarried, being in a relationship with anyone also. So relationships always exist no matter who we are and how we are.
That's it for this video.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for, I'm grateful for you that you have shared many things in different video. If you want to watch his other podcast, please subscribe and watch. There is a playlist. And if you have any questions, please comment below and leave your question. When I meet him next time, I will ask those questions. Thanks for watching. Namaste.
Namaskar.